is there a recommended client relationship management software system? You need a CRM. Its obvious role is that it's, keeps track of client contact information, but it's got other elements. It should have a note-taking capacity. I like to make sure, if you're kind of making a list of things that I like about CRMs that I always look for, I look for something that when you search, it will search through the notes as well as the client contact information. So that if, for example, let's say you have a problem with a client on a specific account that you've been kind of following through on, you could put the last 4 digits of the account number in each note related to that problem, and then you could go into the CRM search box and type those last 4 numbers of that account, and then all those notes would come up. So many CRMs don't do that, so I mentioned that to you. I mean, and there are also calendar components, task components, so assigning tasks to members of the team, maintaining your own task list. Most CRMs do not do this very well. Most CRMs allow you to create task lists that have a deadline date. So you have a task of something that's due on a certain date, and then it creates a task list for you of all these things that are due on certain dates. That's very inefficient. That's what Stephen Covey talks a lot about in the tyranny of the urgent, where you're so busy working on tasks that have deadlines that the things that don't have deadlines, which are often the more important things, never make it onto your task list. But you're looking for the capability of being able to prioritize your task list in ways other than the due date. So if you could just be able to look at your task list and maybe drag and drop, like drag the most important thing to the top of the list or somehow move it up there, that's something that many CRMs are unable to do, and I don't like that. But so calendar, contacts, task requests, and then last but not least, what I would call action sequences, which is automating processes. So like automated autoresponders, automated sequences of emails, or just automated task lists of things where you're trying to take a best way process and actually automate it. Only look at cloud-based systems at this point. If you're not using a cloud-based system, it's really going to cripple you in the years ahead, and I would say right now. But what you're really dealing with here is a kind of a trade-off between simplicity and capability. So we use a CRM, we looked at like 110 CRMs, and we decided we wanted a CRM with tremendous capability. And the trade-off for that is it's not simple. So we use a CRM that you may not hear often in our industry, but it's called Infusionsoft. And I would say if you're going to choose Infusionsoft, it's got everything that you want. It's particularly automating processes. So the problem is, if you're getting started with Infusionsoft, you're going to need to hire a consultant. So this is a financial decision. I would not try to implement Infusionsoft into your business without hiring an Infusionsoft certified consultant, which there are jillions of them all over the place. Certified consultants. Many of them are also virtual assistants. So it's not that they don't exist or that they can't help you. Infusionsoft itself has coaches that you can hire to help through this. But the point is, it's not cheap. Salesforce is probably the most commonly. That's the one that I hear most commonly these days. It was one of the very first cloud-based CRMs, and it has a lot of capability. Specific to our industry, you hear Redtail quite a bit. Right on their logo, I notice here it says celebrating 10 years, so they've been around for a little while. But that is focused pretty much on financial services, as is Juncture. So Juncture is, kind of used to be the gold standard, but for the fact that they weren't in the cloud, I'm assuming they're in the cloud now. They have a product called Juncture Cloud. So I don't really have a horse in this race. I just tell you that it should be cloud-based. You got to decide on the state of your team right now. You've got to think ahead a year or two. You want to make sure that your system is capable of, doing everything that needs to be tracked outside of the meeting plans, because those are tracked on the toolkit. But the more complex and more capable CRM you get, the more complex it is to implement, and the more likely it is that you'll need to hire someone to come in and help you implement it. I would tell you one thing to avoid when it comes to CRM are these, there are some systems that are holy grail. They hold themselves out to be holy grail. In the U.S., there's one called IAS, Interactive Advisory Systems, I think, and we used it at our firm for several years. We sunk hundreds, well over 100,000, well over 150,000. I think it was closer to 200,000. We sunk into that, trying to customize it to our system. But it's a system, and you'll come across these where it's a client relationship manager and financial planning and performance reporting, and it claims to do everything. And what you'll find, and in Australia you have Xplan. My experience with these, and I've worked with Xplan and I've worked with IAS, and I'm familiar with several of these other holy grail software programs, is they do a lot, that's the big benefit. It integrates everything, but it doesn't do any of them at a very high level. So, or at the highest levels necessary for what we're doing for our clients. So I think if you've made a huge investment in a holy grail software system and you want to continue using it, just lower your expectations and just realize that a lot of advisors have sunk hundreds of thousands of dollars into these systems only to find out that you need to do a lot of things. Just give it up in thinking that it's going to be all done in one place, and get used to the idea that you're going to have your subject matter experts create reports and certain analysis and certain things that they're doing outside that system. Even if you keep the end result, the document created as a result of your subject matter experts' efforts, even if you store that in your holy grail software program, your CRM and so forth, just get used to the idea that that system's not going to do everything.